There are loads of models of reflection that we can draw on in social work, but essentially all of them fall into one of two types of model. You can get process models of reflection or component models of reflection. Now, sometimes people will say to you, a process model of reflection is one which gives you a process to work through. Personally, I don't find that very helpful. Well, one thing is social workers are very skilled at turning anything we want to into a process. So for me, it's not always that helpful to think of a process model giving us a process to work through. The easiest way for us to think about what's the difference between a process model and a component model is to return to Sean's theory of reflection, where he talks about reflection in action and on action. And of course, Killian and Toddenham added the third stage of reflection for action. So we end up with 3 stages: before, during, and after. Before, we reflect for action. During, we reflect in action. And after, we reflect on action. So we end up with these 3 stages of reflection. Now, a process model can only be used to reflect on action, in hindsight, to look back at a situation. You know it's a process model if it starts off by asking what happened, because you have to wait till something's happened before you can use the model. Whereas a component model, really, I suppose a non-academic way of putting it is, it just gives you a list of stuff to think about. And you can think about it before, during, or after. So Corsican and Vassilos reflective onion is an example of a component model. You don't have to wait till something's happened to use the model. You could think about the impact of the environment before you even go to the situation. So before you go into, let's say it's a meeting, before you go into a meeting, you're going to think about what impact will the environment have. You're going to think about, how do I think people will behave? What will I do if this happens? What will I do if that happens? And so on. A component model gives you the ability to use it before the event has occurred. Now, that's a really good hint for thinking about reflective writing, because if you can use a component model before and after, then try that out. If you think to yourself, I think this visit that I'm going on now could be a really good one to write about, then sit and work through your component model of reflection to plan and reflect for action. Then after the event, look back, reflect on action using the same component model. That can help you to connect your reflection for action and your reflection on action in an assignment. It's a really good hint for reflective writing.